Welcome to a little segment I like to call Bumps and Bends. Hey guys, here we go at Barber Motorsports Park, Week 2 of Season 3, 2020 in the new USF 2000 car. I've just finished a race, which turned out pretty good. I'll put a link up later in this video, but today we're going to focus on the track, a bit of a track guide. Personally, I'm happy with the time that I got in this session, but I've learned a lot from watching the leaders. I was lucky enough to have Bono Huey in my race. He just took off, but learned a lot from the way he handles the car, and the main thing that I've learned is being smooth. Firstly, this is a fixed setup, and I'm finding it's extremely twitchy and on edge, where you would normally really turn in to bite the corner. This thing just wants to spin around. So I'm finding as I get more confident, I'm getting faster, but initially my confidence is quite low. But don't be turned off by this. It's once you get your head around it, it's actually quite a good car track combo. It's about pushing the limits and being on edge and trying to do some alien things. So watch the aliens and learn what they do, and yeah, hopefully you can benefit. But the anti-roll bar, I'm no setup guru, but I've found that having a hard setup, which says down the bottom, more oversteer at the rear, excuse me, an anti-roll bar, soft at the front, eliminates understeer. So just from those two settings alone, it says to me that it's designed to be twitchy. Don't be deterred by your first few laps. Learn how to push the car, and my racing, I got down to a 25.0 after watching Bono. Jumped into a practice session straight away at 24.4. As time goes on, your times are going to drop, your lap times, and yeah. So let's have a look at a lap from the cockpit, and then we'll go corner by corner. Let's do this. So my approach is actually quite conservative here. Just trying to be as smooth as possible. Try not to be too aggressive on the corners. And constantly chasing it with small steering inputs. Very crucial part of the track right at the end. I'm very conservative there compared to the other guys, but I got through safely, and that's a 24.4. The start finish line's quite late. Let's call that a 24.5. Rightio, let's have a look at each corner. I think it's, if you haven't got the track yet, I do recommend getting it. But just remember, it's a very technical circuit, and it's just going to take time to get your head around it. I haven't had a wealth of time here, but I have had different categories: the Lotus, the Skippy, Formula 3, a whole bunch of cars that really reward risk. And if you can get that right on the edge over the crests, and it turns out to be a great circuit. So coming into turn 1, I'm doing a little bit of a brake just to stabilize the car at the 1 marker. You'll see the freaks turning in at the start of the concrete there. I'm not braking too hard. It's more of a nervous reaction, if you like, because you're throwing it in and you can't actually see the curb at this point, but the curb never changes position. So just learn the blind corners. Throw it in 5th. So you're actually having a lot more speed into turn 1, and you're actually using this part of the circuit. You're just gathering it up, hoping for the best, that you throw as much speed into turn 1 and use this section to gather it up and set it up for turn 2, because turn 2, going over the crest, really unsettles the car, and it's about your brake balance. There's not much aero in this car, so your brake balance and just trying to get the car turned in and set it up. See, I'm not even, there's a long period where I have 0 inputs, and I'm just trying to get that balance right so I can jump on the throttle. Get on the throttle too early in this car and you're going to spin. So just find that perfect time where you can jump on full throttle and then straight line. So I'm going out wide, but once again, we've got another blind corner. So at this point, when I first drove this track a couple of years ago, I used to go quite wide here and let the car, less steering input, let the car float out. But you watch the fast guys and they just cut right across here towards this tower. And then, yeah, I used to float out wide and then come back to the braking marker. But all you're doing, as I've said in previous track guides, you're just lengthening the circuit to get a nice straight braking. And I'm braking just after the 2 marker, just before the 1. I want to get it nice and straight. I'm quite conservative here because I've found pushing way too hard unsettles the front. As soon as you unsettle the front, you can see even in slow motion, the rear is trying to kick out and the thing just wants to spin on you. Just find that balance between aggression and compromised driving style, and you get that nice balance and the time will just come to you. So if you brake too late or you go in too hot, you're going to end up way out wide, and there's a lot of extra track here that you don't need to use. So stay on the inside and just try to aim for in here. See, I've gone quite wide, but you're just trying to just flow it out wide here, but not too wide, because the next section we're actually aiming for this group of trees here. But the more steering input you do, the slower you're going to go, and you'll see that in the Delta very quickly. To minimize your steering inputs, let the car flow, and after a little wiggle, just hope that that wiggle heads towards your location, because if you're over controlling the car, you're definitely going to slow the car down. So this is it, the back straight here. You can make up a lot of time. If you get that hairpin right, you can make up a lot of time. Just be careful though, because at the end of the straight, there's a real hazardous area. And if you're going too wide up here, then chances are one of you is going to crash out. They're just staying wide, and I'm just trying to set it up. Once again, another blind corner, but you're right over here where you want to be once you get to the bottom of the hill. So well and truly after the 1 marker, just before the concrete there, I'm just slowly getting on the brakes, trying not to unsettle the car, because the way you are coming down the hill, you're actually raising weight off the rear of the car. So just focus on where the hairpin is at the bottom of the hill, aim for there, and make your downshifts as smooth as possible. You can straight line this to an extent. You don't want to straight line it too much. I might have actually got an X on this lap. That will give you an X. But as you see, not much damage. But that's your turning point and your braking point. If you hit this too hard or too fast, you're going to end up way wide and you're going to spend a lot of time gathering the car up. So you want the car gathered up at the apex, which means braking a little bit earlier. Just be careful of the people behind. Some people like to overcook this hairpin, but if you hold your position, hopefully if they're overcooking it, they'll hesitate and go left, and you can just control your line through the corner. So I'm really focusing on getting to this little bit of concrete and hoping to scoop the car around. There's a lot of hope here, not a lot of calculation. And just really be careful on how you're getting on the throttle. I'm finding a 3/4 throttle until I get a feel in the rear, and then I'm straight on to full throttle. Try not to go too wide here. You don't need to go too overly wide because you're not going as fast as you would be in other cars. Your focus should be on straight lining the two S's here. So try and turn in well before the corner. I was watching even the faster guys turning in mid-corner and they were reacting to the corner. But if you're, proacting to the corner, being proactive, you're using that understeer to your advantage. So I'm turning in well early. And the faster guys, I'll show you Bono's lap. He actually backed it off here because he overcooked it and didn't react as fast. Don't want to pick on Bono. He's multiple world champion esports driver. But what I did learn from Bono is at this corner here, just go for it. Just throw it in. If you get your line right, another blind corner. If you get your line right, you need to have a couple of tires over the concrete. If you get it just a little bit wrong, you are going to go wide and you're going to have to brake a lot more for the second section. Just get it right in. Try and go in as hot as possible. I've missed it by a mile. Getting that change of direction. You can eat a lot of this concrete. It's relatively flat. But just be aware that the exit of this corner is on the crest of a hill and you're going to get a lot of wheel spin and it's going to send you wide over the crest. But the corners don't change location. They're there every single lap. It's all about having faith in that next corner and the next corner. And the more you can punch it out here, you can gain a lot of speed. And we're coming up to my Achilles heel of the track. So you can actually go quite wide here. You can land the tires on the concrete here. It'll get a little bit wiggly, but yeah, you're actually helping yourself for the following corner. But the third last corner is quite important. Try and give it as much as you can. I just can't stay on the throttle for long enough, and I found that Pierre was gaining half a second on me per lap in this section alone. But Bono, he went up to 5th and then really slowly downshifted. None of this braking as late as possible and then boo boo boo, because that will unsettle the car and it will want to spin on you. going out wide, but your focus is on being on the right side of the second last corner on the exit. If you go in too hot here, you end up quite wide and you're spending the change of direction towards the last corner, gathering things up. So for me personally, preparation is key. So I'm going down to second here and I'm really trying to get that front end over here. Trying hard. But I don't want to wipe off too much speed. I'm only going 100 kilometers an hour there, which relative to the guys around you is quite slow. But like I said, my focus is on being nice and stable with a change of direction. And I'm finding stretching second out and at that little pivot point is when I'm going into third gear. And then just getting a nice throttle balance, using as much of this curb as possible without bumping. You'll see what I mean. I'm just trying to throw it in. If you go on the line, you're still going to hit a bump, and the bump itself will send you wide. And you don't want to compromise this straight. And off you go. That was a 24.5. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I don't think I've got it up yet. This is Bono's lap. Yes, it is. So these guys are freaks. This guy's done a 22.9. He did a 23.1 in qualifying. Let's have a look at his lap. This is how the pros do it. I don't think it's going to do the whole lap.
It looks like Moreno.
No, it's not. Prepared, eh? So that 23's all the way down. So he's not being aggressive at all. He's not using all that track on the left. Quite a nice, smooth braking. But see how slowly he goes down. And there's those tiny steering inputs, which you're just going to get with feel. Slowly gearing down, aiming for that hairpin. See how he could have gone a lot faster there. He actually backed it off. And he throws it in and then goes to fourth late. See how loose he gets on the crest there. So smooth is fast here. Well, I hope that helps everybody. That particular lap helped me a lot. And yeah, let us know what you think. Is this are you struggling with this car in the same way that I am? If so, let us know in the comments. Slowly getting there and enjoying the car lap by lap. So hopefully I'll see you on track soon. Thumbs up if you liked it, down if you didn't. Make sure you subscribe. Come check me out on Twitch, and I'll see you next time. Bye.